So quickly, how many of us here use a CM or work in a radiation field at least once a day? Can I see show of hands, please? Yeah, that's a good number. So we know what the risks are. We are protecting ourselves, right? At least we think we do. So when it comes to radiation awareness, there's a big gap between what we should know and what we actually know. So studies from different parts of the world have shown this. There is a surprisingly high number of surgeons and trainees who lack basic knowledge about radiation exposure and radiation safety. And these are just not numbers on a slide. This is something that affects our health every day. So let me give you some context. In this Indian study that was done recently, 15% of orthopedic surgeons were unaware of the risks. This does not seem like a big number, right? Not that bad. But 85% of us didn't know the permissible yearly dose, and nearly half were not aware of the safety practices, like the correct positioning, like what kind of shields were better for them, and 90% thought that it was completely unsafe for women to work in radiation fields. So this tells us that while we think we know enough, there's still room for a lot of improvement. So why am I specifically concentrating on women here is firstly, the number of women is steadily increasing in this field, and studies on health risks that women face, like health to the reproductive system during pregnancy, and more importantly, breast cancer due to radiation exposure is not studied enough. Unfortunately, these risks are sex-specific, and there's not enough about it on the internet or anywhere. Let's start with breast cancer. So female orthopedic surgeons in the US have shown to have nearly 3 to 4 times more risk of breast cancer as compared to the normal population. And this was a study that was studied among the same demographic of patients, so the same race, same ethnicity. So we can't argue maybe a certain ethnicity is more prone to breast cancer. So it was an equal comparison. And interestingly, this was not limited to just surgeons. Radiology technicians who had low-dose, long-term exposure of radiation were also at a very high risk. Let's look closer to home. So out of 51 female orthopedic surgeons, almost 4% had developed breast cancer irrespective of family history. None of these people had history of breast cancer in the family. And 11% of these women were women who were practicing for more than 10 years. So this shows that long-term exposure, even when it is low dose, can be a big risk factor. So the normal occupational doses have been laid down by the ICRP, the International Commission for Radiation Safe Protocol, but there's no mention of the dose limit for the breast tissue, and the breast tissue being the superficial area, we need to study what the dose limits are and what the risks are. So in a study where this studied 28 patients who developed breast cancer post-radiation therapy for Hodgkin's lymphoma, 59% of them, that is majority of them, had developed it in the upper outer quadrant. And this is an area that is very common for breast cancer. And this is an area which is very exposed in spite of us wearing a lead shield. To better understand how radiation exposure affects us, especially the breasts, researchers designed an experiment using an anthropomorphic torso phantom, basically a realistic model simulating a female surgeon. This phantom was placed next to a standard operating table, just like where a surgeon would stand. Dosimeters were placed on the upper outer quadrant on both sides and on the lower inner quadrant on both sides. Meanwhile, a pelvic phantom was representing the patient was kept on the operating table, and continuous fluoroscopy was run just like in a routine surgery. So this was tested in 4 different types of apron sizes, 2 different designs, various position of the surgeons, and various position of the C-arm projection. By doing this, they studied the amount of radiation in each position of the patient and in different kinds of vest. So apron design and fit actually made a difference. Smaller vests tend to protect the upper outer quadrant better, whereas a cross-back apron protects the lower inner quadrant. Now, how many women out here work in institutes where they do not have specific sizes of Siam gowns? Can you just put your hand up? Because most of these Siam gowns cater to men. So let's face it, it's a male-dominant field, and for years they have been catering to men. So most of the Siam gowns are loose, and the upper outer quadrant are always exposed. So make sure that you ask for a well-fitted Siam gown. It's your health that we are talking about. Apart from breast cancer, radiation exposure can seriously have ill effects on the reproductive health also. Overexposure can disrupt the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis, which leads to diminished hormonal feedback loop between the ovaries and the brain and can further compromise fertility and overall endocrine health. The stakes are even higher during pregnancy. Exposure in early pregnancy can lead to miscarriages and congenital anomalies. Later, it can affect the growth of the baby and cause neurodevelopmental issues in the baby. This is why special precautions are critical during pregnancy. It's not completely unsafe if you're protecting yourself and the baby with the proper shields. So, now let's understand the device. Let's start by understanding our device. Yeah? So mini Siams versus standard Siams. Mini Siams are really nice. They are small, they are portable, and most of us as hand surgeons love the mini Siam because it's not a huge obstacle in our field. But here's the catch. Because it is small, it is much more closer to us than a standard Siam, and therefore the scattered radiation is much more as compared to a standard Siam. So flat panel detectors are much better because they give better resolution under low dose, so therefore reduce the scattered radiation. Now let's look at the positioning of the Siam. So imagine you're holding a mirror and the sunlight reflecting from it. So if you're keeping the mirror far away and low, the sunlight is much less, and as compared to when you keep it closer to you, it's blinding, right? Similarly, keep the X-ray tube below the table and away from you so that the scatter is less. So ICRP described LRR, that is the as low as reasonably achievable principle, which basically comprises of time, distance, and shielding. So reduce the time of exposure, collimate as much as possible to decrease the scatter, and use it in pulse fluoroscopy mode. The distance, as we increase the distance, the scattered radiation go down by almost is inversely proportional to the square of that. So if you're doubling the distance between you and the source, the scattered radiation is 1/4, and if you're tripling it, it goes to 1/9 and so on. Personal protection is your best friend, so a lead shield is your best friend. 0.25 mm to 0.5 mm is ideal, but the most common cause for non-compliance is the weight. So newer shields are much more lighter. So you can ask or request your hospitals to get these newer shields so that you can wear them for a longer duration. All this is of no use if you're not monitoring your radiation dose. So a personal dosimeter is important. Only 15% of women surgeons in India wore a dosimeter, which does not make sense if you're not monitoring your radiation exposure. So ideal placement of the dosimeter is very controversial. A lot of places they say it should be outside the gown. A lot of places say it should be inside the gown. Depends on where your radiation safety, the bodies that look after radiation safety recommend it. So during pregnancy, ideally 2 badges should be used. One inside the gown to monitor the radiation to the baby, and one at the collar level outside the gown to monitor the radiation to the mother. So this is not what we do. This is just a recreation of a picture from my residency almost 10 years back when we were young, we were ignorant, and we thought we were invincible. So this is something that is not recommended in the OT. So in spite of all the measures, if you're not taking care of yourself, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure most of you all have been in this situation during their residency. So my message is shield up, stay safe, and move on. And I would like to thank Voice India for taking the initiative to spread awareness and study radiation safety for women in our country. Thank you.